Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to another session of General Science. And in today's session, we will be discussing the leftover two agents, that is pollination of a flower by wind and with the help of water. But before that, I would like to tell you something that I have been feeling very happy. I was very happy to know that some of you are practicing the dissection of flower that I have shown you in the previous last two sessions. I came to know that some of you have collected the flowers and you did the dissection at home. I felt very happy for you all. Okay, and keep doing like this, students. But one more thing, the ones who are ideally sitting and not doing these things, lot of time is there at home. Utilize it. Okay, when you do these things, you will get to know these topics in much clear way. Okay, the dissection was shown to you with a purpose that you do it by yourself and get the topics more clear. Okay, so don't sit idly, utilize the time properly. Alright, well, let us take a quick recap of what we have already learned in our previous session. So in your previous session, I had explained to you about pollination. That is, pollination is a process in which the pollen grains from the anther are transferred to the stigma of the flower. Okay, then we had learned about two types of pollination, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. What happens in self-pollination? Either the pollen grain will fall on the stigma of same flower or it will fall on the stigma of another flower but of the same plant. Okay, then what was cross-pollination? That is, when from the anther, the pollen gets transferred to the stigma of another flower, okay, of another plant, but the plant should be of the same species. Okay, then we had learned about the agents of pollination. That is, this work of pollination is carried out by certain agents. We had also discussed the first agent, that is pollination by insect. Now, today's session, we will be learning about the pollination by wind and pollination by water. Okay, so before that, let us first move towards the reading segment. Alright, so let us do a reading of the portion. Pollination by wind. The blowing wind carries pollen grains from one flower to other flowers and helps in pollination. Wind-pollinated flowers do not have large, brightly colored and scented petals or nectar because they do not have to attract insects. Features of wind-pollinated flowers. They have anthers that hang outside the flowers to catch the wind. They produce large amount of lightweight, small pollen grains which can blow in the wind. They also have spreading and feathery stigmas to catch the airborne pollen grains. Some of the wind-pollinated flowers are in the plants such as grass, maize, rice, sugarcane, bamboo, and palms. Pollination by water. The pollination in aquatic plants, particularly those plants which remain submerged in water, is done by water. The pollination in aquatic plants such as Vallisneria and Hydrilla is carried out by water. In Vallisneria, an underwater plant, male flower is submerged in the water and female flower with long stalk floats on the surface. As the male flower gets mature, it gets detached from the parent plant and floats on water. With the help of water current, when male flower comes in contact with the female flower, the transfer of pollens from male flower to the stigma of the female flower takes place. Features of wind-pollinated flowers. These flowers produce pollen grains in large quantity. Pollen grains are light. They are easily carried by water from flower to flower for pollination. So students, in your last session we had learnt about pollination by insect. Now today we will be learning first of all pollination by wind. Now see, insects, how it is pollination by insects, how that is done. Insect will sit on the flower, okay, and the pollens get stuck to the body of the insect. Now when it moves to the other flower, the pollens will fall on the stigma of the flower. But that is not the case with the wind. Now how pollination is done by wind? See, for the flowers to be pollinated by wind, what happens? Suppose this is the petal of the flower, okay, and this is the flower. So what will happen with such flowers which are pollinated by wind? Their anthers will hang outside, okay. The anthers will hang outside the flower, okay, and the stigma will be like a feather. Have you seen the feather of a bird? You know? So what happens? See, in case of pollination by wind, these anthers will hang outside the flower. Okay? Now, what will happen when strong wind will blow? When very strong wind will blow, these pollens inside the anther, they will blow with the wind. Okay? Once they blow with the wind, what will happen? They will get stuck to the feathers of the stigma. They are, see, the stigma in them is in these flowers which are pollinated by wind are just like the feathers. Have you seen the feathers of a bird? Now, they can easily attract the dust particles to it. So, similarly, when these are like a feather, what happens? These pollens will blow along with the wind and they will get stuck to the feathers of the stigma. Clear? Now see, suppose if two flowers are there. This one was for self-pollination. Okay. Now suppose if there were two flowers over here. Okay, that is for cross-pollination if we talk about. And these were the anthers having pollens inside. Okay, so what will be the case with the stigma? The stigma will be hanging just like the feathers. Stigma will just be like the feathers. So what will happen? As the strong wind will blow, these pollens that are there in the anthers, very light pollens, they will blow along with the wind. Okay, and they will get stuck to the feathers of the stigma. Is it clear to you all? So, pollination by wind is done in such a way. Okay, now let us see that for a flower to be getting pollinated by the wind, what are the chief characteristics of it? Okay, what chief characteristics a plant needs to be pollinated by the wind? So, first feature of a plant to be pollinated by wind, as I told you, the anthers and the stigma will be hanging outside. Okay, so anthers and stigma hang outside the flower. Okay, the anthers and the stigma will be hanging outside the flower. What happened in the case of insects? Both the anthers and the stigma, they were inside the flower. Okay, so that when the insects would get to drink the nectar, these pollens would get stuck to the body. But here, they need to be carried by the wind. So, the anthers and stigma need to be hanging outside. Clear? First concept. Now, the second concept is, see, for the pollination to be carried by wind, okay, the pollens need to be produced in large amount. Okay, pollens should be produced in large amount. Okay, why is this needed? Why pollen should be produced in large amount? See students, when these pollens are carried by the wind, there is a possibility for the pollens to fall on the flowers of other species. And as I told you that if the pollen grains will fall on the flowers of some other species, those pollens will be of no use. Means pollination will not be called as successful. Okay, so it may happen that some of the pollens will fall, means when they are carried by the wind, they will fall on the flowers of the other species. Okay, that is why these pollens are produced in large amount, so that if some are wasted also, at least some would fall on the same species and a successful pollination will be carried out. Is it clear? Okay. Now the third point for this is petals need not be very bright or large. See, why were petals large in case of insects? In case of insects, these petals were large and bright to attract the insects. Okay, for the flowers to be pollinated by insects, the petals were very large and bright. But here, since pollination is carried by wind, so the petals need not to be playing any role in it. Is it clear to you all? So these are some of the characters or features of the flowers that are pollinated by wind. The basic examples, if you see, the flowers of maize. Okay, maize that you corns that you eat. Okay, it's flowers of the maize. They are very light. They hang outside, and as the fast wind blows, these pollens get transferred to other plants. Okay, so this is how pollination by wind is carried out. Now we will learn about the next agent, that is pollination by water. Okay, we have just now seen how the flowers are pollinated by wind. Okay, that is the pollens need to be produced in large number and pollens need to be very light, okay, and very small. At the same time, the anthers and stigma will be outside the flower. Okay, so in this case, since the flowers are very small, the petals also, they are very small and they need not to be very bright or very large. Okay, now next last topic from the chapter is pollination by water. Now let us see how water helps in the pollination of the flowers. Now see, basically the plants which are submerged in water. Like one example you can take for Vallisneria. Okay, Vallisneria or Hydrilla. Last year you have learned, no? Here I will be teaching you how pollination will occur in the plants which are under water. Okay, so here is a plant, that is Vallisneria plant we have taken, and the plant is submerged in water, means it is inside the water. Now see how pollination will take place in this plant. If you remember, students, I have taught you about bisexual flower and unisexual flower. Unisexual, do you remember what it is? Okay. Unisexual flowers are those which will have either the male part or the female part on it. Okay, that is either they will have stamen or they will have pistil on it. While bisexual means it will have both the stamen and the pistil. Now here see, Vallisneria is actually a unisexual flower. Okay, that is on one plant you will find the male part. On the male flower you will find the male part, that is the stamen. Okay, and on the female flower you will find the female part, that is the pistil. Okay, so here I have taken two Vallisneria plants. Okay, that is, suppose one is male flower that is having the stamen in it, and this is your anther. Okay, this part is your anther, and your anther has small pollen grains. Okay, now this is the female part that is having the pistil. So pistil will have stigma. So suppose this is the stigma, or this is the pistil of the flower. So what happens? The female flower, the top portion stigma will remain floating on the surface of the water. Okay, what will happen with the male part? See, the anthers will produce the pollens, and these pollens, they will be very light. Remember, both in case of wind pollinated and in case of water pollinated flowers, the pollens are light. Okay, that is the feature. Pollens are very light and small. Okay, they are light and small, so they can be easily carried by the water current, or in case of wind, they can be carried by the wind. Now, in this case, these pollens, they will be getting detached from the male flower. Okay, they will get detached from the male flower and they will start floating on the surface of water. Okay, with the water current means you see the tides in water. Okay, so with the flow of the water, these anthers will be carried. Okay, and once they will meet the female flower, okay, pollination will take place. Is it clear to you all, students? So this is how pollination is carried in water. Okay, the pollens from the anther will get detached and will float on the surface of the water. Okay, until they meet the female flower. So once they will meet the female flower, they will get stuck to the stigma of the female flower and pollination will take place. Okay, so here also the features, if we learn, the first feature, as you see, the pollens are very light, okay, and they are very small. Pollens will be light, small, and again they will be produced in large quantity. Okay, so in insect pollinator also you have seen that the flowers means pollens were very light and they were produced in large quantity. Here also pollens are light and small so that they can float, and pollens are in large number. So these are the two features of the flowers that are pollinated by water. So students, this is the end of our chapter. Okay, I have already explained you the previous topic. So let us recall what we have learned in this chapter. So in this chapter, I have taught you about two types of reproduction in plants, that is sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Then we had learned about the parts of a flower. Okay, then we had learned about the pollination, two types of pollination, that is cross pollination and self pollination, and the last topic that we had learned was agents of pollination. Okay, so this is the end of your chapter. Do revise it very well, and today itself I have already uploaded the exercises of the chapter. Okay, so just look at the exercises and solve from it, and tomorrow I will be uploading the question answers for this chapter. Okay, so this is all for today. Do well, okay, and study properly at home. All right.